Yes, certainly. Say a few words,
Way. I'll just stand by the side.
will you? Give them the words.
Well, I'll give him any words I want. People will be mystified as to who I am.
That's Naomi McFly's
Hello, well, could we all stand for our national anthem, please?
What's running?
No, you don't.
Good evening, Reverend Fathers, ladies and gentlemen. It gives me great pleasure as chairman of the Ramelton Festival to invite you all here this evening. We have many well-known personalities on our platform. I welcome them one and all. And I wish to thank all my hard work committee for the great effort they have put into the festival to make it a success. I also would like to thank all our sponsors, especially Mr. Joe Murray, who I'd like to send a special thanks across the Irish Sea. We're a bit lost here. I'd also like to thank the people who started out on the sponsored walk, the people who gave their cars, money buses and vans towards that sponsored walk, and of course our knockout team who put the knockout together, which will be on Sunday. Also the team who erected the platform and the team who erected the bunting. Of course the ICA, which I thank sincerely for their deed tonight and all that they've done in the past. Also, I'd like to thank Mr. Samuel McCloy for the use of his caravan, our local Garda Síochána, and Mr. Peter Corn for the use of his premise to build up the festival. And also the people who raise funds in various ways through the town. And also, I'd like to thank the Reverend Brian Smeaton for his beautiful community service in St. Paul's Church last night. Normally I'm never nervous, but tonight I am really nervous. Is it because I didn't get settled down after working so hard all day? Nevertheless, I'll do my best. I'll do my best. I'd like to call now on Mr. Dennis Doyle from the Tourist Board to say a few words. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, Reverend Sirs, special guests, ladies and gentlemen. This must be my 10th or 11th Lennon Festival, and I have always been asked to speak the first. So I did ask Reverend Speed that tonight perhaps he would show some mercy and leave me until last so as I can see what the others have to say. But it's not to be. I'm delighted to be here and to represent Donegal, Leitrim, Sligo Tourism and Bord Fáilte. Tourism is a major industry in Donegal, and it is so because people like the Lennon Festival Committee and the other voluntary groups around the county contribute so much in terms of time and effort to ensure that the facilities and entertainment are there to maximise the enjoyment for the visitors who come here to this beautiful county of ours. And unfortunately it is raining this evening, but then it only rains in Donegal on a Friday. So perhaps tomorrow we will have better weather, and I hope we will, because this weekend is the commencement of the peak tourist season for the year. And I would like to take this opportunity to extend a very warm welcome, a Céad Míle Fáilte, to the many visitors who are with us from other counties in Ireland, from overseas, and particularly from the north of Ireland, the people who are the backbone of our tourism industry. Earlier this year, the new Minister for Tourism, John Wilson, announced many new initiatives, and we have been promoting these initiatives extensively over the last few months, and we hope that they will bear fruit and bring an increased number of visitors into the county for the rest of the season. The attractions of Donegal are there for everybody to see. The magnificent and beautiful scenery, the friendliness of the people, the good food, the excellent range of accommodation and activities. And when we think of the weather, it certainly is a deterrent, but we in regional tourism, with the help of Bord Fáilte and other voluntary groups, are determined to provide an extensive range of what we call wet weather facilities. And around the county now you will see the magnificent Glenveigh National Park, which has been developed with the support of the Office of Public Works, the Derrykill St. Colum's Gallery at Churchill, which is one of the finest galleries in the whole of Ireland, and all Donegal are proud of Derrykill and what he has achieved out there. And we have the magnificent and new tourism facility up at Dunree. At present, We are developing a St. Columcille Heritage Centre at Garton. And we all in Ramelton await with great interest and enthusiasm the development of the McKeamy Centre, which will be a major facility not just for Ramelton and Donegal but for Ireland in general, and will help to strengthen the links between Donegal and the US and Canada because of McKeamy's links between the two destinations. Coming into Ramelton this evening, I said to myself, this town is looking different, and so it is, because the Tidy Towns Committee have done a magnificent job here this year. I was very impressed with the excellent gardens, the presentation of the green areas. And why not? Because I think this helps to upgrade the whole attractiveness of this beautiful town, which has a magnificent setting on the banks of the River Lennon, the magnificent Georgian buildings that are around the streets. All these blend in to promote Ramelton as a town of special appeal. And I think this is part of your heritage. The environment is our heritage and we must protect it. And that is one of the reasons that we in regional tourism promote aggressively and extensively the National Tidy Towns competition. And I know that here in Donegal there's a renewed interest in the competition because this year in particular committees are working extremely hard to brighten up their place, to make their town a better town and a more attractive town, not just for themselves but for visitors, because if there is an appeal in your town, people will come, they'll stay longer. I want to compliment the Tidy Towns Committee for what they have done. I see a lot of paint has been used around the town, and it certainly is showing a major improvement on last year. And I think the Tidy Towns Committee deserve a round of applause for what they're trying to achieve. I want to thank the Lennon Committee, the young, vibrant, energetic committee who have been led by some old hands who are lending their expertise and their know-how, which has been developed down through the years. This festival is a true community festival. It's about people, and people who come here over the next few days will find out what the real meaning of Donegal hospitality is. I wish everybody success. I wish the festival continued success. Goramila Mahagov, and before I finish, a very special welcome to Sean Rafferty, your special guest. Thank you.
Now we have a gentleman who came the whole road from Roma this evening to be with us from the American Folk Park in Roma, Mr. Tony Nicholl.
Mr. Chairman, Reverend gentlemen, special guests, ladies and gentlemen, it is indeed a great pleasure for me to come across to Ramelton tonight to something that I'm not used to coming to, and that is to opening of festivals. I've been here on many previous occasions on the McKeamy project, a project that is very close to ourselves in the north and particularly at the Folk Park, and something that we hope, and certainly as Dennis Doyle has just said, is something that is going to be a terrific success in the whole of the Donegal area, not just Donegal but in America as well, where at the moment I can tell you there is terrific enthusiasm for the project, and that many Americans will indeed, hopefully, and I think will be fundraising very energetically in the next 6 months, and that hopefully at the turn of the year there certainly will be some good news in regard to that funding from the States, and that certainly the project will get off the ground fairly quickly, and hopefully in a year or two the project will be opened, and I know that that will be a great delight for all in the Ramelton area and Donegal and elsewhere. The Lennon Festival is something that I myself haven't attended previously, and I can say that it's a real delight to be here and see so many people who want to be involved in such a festival. I know that there are people today from the north here at this moment in time, as it generally in the north is the northern holiday time, and certainly it's very nice to see them, and I'm delighted that we're able to come along. I'd like to wish the festival every success, as I know it will be, and I'm sure it will be a terrific success to the future. Now, when I'm on my feet here, I've been asked to make a couple of announcements, and if you don't mind at this stage, Mr. Chairman, I'll make those announcements. The first one, I think, is the Anchor Heritage Centre exhibition will be open tomorrow morning in the Stewart Arms Hotel from 11 to 2, and from Monday to Friday through the summer months from 11 to 5. That is something that I know that everyone will be delighted to see, and in particular I can say to those who have come in on holiday at the moment that that is something worthwhile to go and see. We all enjoyed it, and we'll enjoy it to the future. A second item is that on Saturday the 8th of August at Mount Stewart, a garden fete has been held there, and hopefully that will be a lovely, typical Donegal summer's day, and that from 2 o'clock to 6 o'clock that day we'll all swelter at Mount Stewart, or Fort Stewart, sorry, and we'll enjoy that day as well. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Tony Nicol. And now we have a man from the Letterkenny Folk Festival who is to carry his burden until the 20th of August. I've got rid of mine tonight, thank God. So, Mr. Barney Doherty from the International Folk Festival, Letterkenny.
Mr. Chairman, Reverend gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen, I don't know what I'm doing here tonight speaking, but I'm very honoured to have been asked and to pay a special compliment to the Lennon Committee. I suppose that's what we have in common. We know what it's like to work through the long winter months to prepare for an event of this nature. I hope that they will give the support they deserve. I hope that the people of Letterkenny and indeed the county will come to Ramelton as they have done in the past. And I hope that the good people of Ramelton will keep up their sponsorship that they have been doing over the last number of years. The lifeblood of any festival is the good relations that exist between the sponsors and the individuals and the community. And again, we have this in common, Letterkenny and Ramelton. It brings people together of all denominations, all sorts. It's a community effort. If it was never to entertain the visitors, it's for the good of the community. And even getting together for those few months is something that enhances any town or any village. I am honoured to have been asked here to say the few words, and I hope that the weather will take up and that the people will flock to Ramelton over the days of the festival. Thank you indeed.
Thank you, Mr. Barney Doherty. And now we have a man with time for all on his back, Mr. Arthur Spears from the County Council office in Lifford.
Ladies and gentlemen, Chairman and Reverend gentlemen, I'm here representing the County Manager and the County Council, and as such I have not much to contribute except some of the words which have already been mentioned with regard to the tourism aspects of the county. And I would like to congratulate ladies in particular, I think, who have looked after the quality of the houses and the gardens about the town, and have made it so presentable for your lovely festival, which I hope will have every success. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Arthur Spears from Lifford. Now, I would like to thank you all personally for the effort that you put into the festival this year. Perhaps I was criticised in the paper, but that was taken up wrong. I would like to make that clear, that the Ramelton people never backed the festival to this year. And deep down in my heart, as well as the festival committee, I really appreciate what you've done. And I thank you, one and all, for your sponsorship, your effort. It's a community effort, and no one could have done better than the Ramelton people. Now I'd like to call on our local clergyman, the Reverend Brian Smeaton.
On behalf of the Reverend Clements and Desmond Sweeney, who's in a sunnier place in the moment in Yugoslavia, maybe he'd say a wee prayer for us and send us good weather. I'd like to compliment everyone on the turnout for the festival this year. One of the things I've noticed, like Dennis Doyle, and let me say to Dennis Doyle, the tourist man, they put the important people on first and last, Dennis. So you're one of the important people, that's why you go on first. But I too have noticed the paint around the town, and I think people have excelled themselves this year with the way they painted the houses and the way the town looks. It's really good. And just let me say one thing about litter. It gets said every year. I hope that people will learn to put their papers in their pockets and take them home with them or put them someplace else and not on the streets. I think we do very well, but I think we could do a lot better with picking up litter. It's one of the things I can't abide. And sometimes I go out with black bags myself and try and pick it up. But I'd be delighted if other people picked up the litter and didn't leave it around the place. But it gives me great pleasure to compliment the committee. They're a very young committee. I think they've done a really good job. They deserve a big hand, and I hope that the festival has I hope we all have a great time this year. God bless us all.
Thank you, Reverend Brian Smeaton. Now our next guest, as we all know, is Mr. Sean Rafferty, our TV personality. Now on the 23rd of May, I was in Swilly Park involved in community games, and on my way home I met Mr. Rafferty. Indeed, I wasn't too clean looking the same day. But nevertheless, I said, Charlie, it's now or never. So I approached Mr. Rafferty, would he open the Lemon Festival if he got it off the ground? He never hesitated for one moment. His words were yes. And I also asked him, would there be any fee involved? Certainly not. So that was a big weight off my shoulders. I went home singing. I went up the street singing. And I wonder at times why we're so slow of getting our festival off the ground when we get personalities like that to open our festival free. So next year I would like to say that probably from next Sunday on, in fact I've got one sponsor for our 1988 festival. So that looks good. And also I've asked my two secretaries, Miss Ferry and Miss Doherty, to stay on. So I'd like you to give them a big hand. They've done a marvellous job. And indeed, as all the committee, young and all as they are, they're eager to learn. And of course, I would like to thank Cecil Greer and Thomas Hart, also who coached them as well. So now, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to call on Mr. Sean Rafferty to open our 1987 Lemon Festival and hoist the festival flag. Mr. Sean Rafferty, a big hand for Sean Rafferty.
Mr. Chairman, ladies and gentlemen, assembled elegances of Ramelton, I thought he was going to ask me to open the 1988 festival where I'm at it, so if you'd like it to be declared open now, we might as well do that when we're here. It's very nice to be here as a visitor from the north, though increasingly less so, if that's not bad English. I've got my naturalization papers out and keep my fingers crossed that I'll be a Ramelton citizen before too long. It's a great part of the world. I think very often, if you live in somewhere as beautiful as this, you start to take it for granted, and you don't notice the specialness of it. You don't notice the light when you come in. You don't notice the way this town is surrounded by beauty. You don't notice the specialness of this place. You don't realise, perhaps, that it's architecturally one of the nicest towns in Ireland, and there is something very, very special here. And I think it's lovely to see, as everyone has said, the effort everybody's been making to paint it up and make it festive. Because people do come here because it's special. And I think we've got to keep that uniqueness and specialness about Ramelton. And I think the energy is there and the determination is there, and long may you be like that. And everyone has said all the great things about the place. It's a smashing spot, that's all I've got to say. You've heard all the remarks from the long line of grandees on the platform behind me. I'd just like to echo their sentiments and say it's terrific to see the fun that's going on. Very impressive. the amount of effort's been put into this. Saving Charlie's presence, as he said, the average age of the committee seems to be almost below the age of consent, and that's got great energy about them. So without further ado, because I'm sure you're dying to enjoy yourselves, and thank God the weather has stayed good, you must have a good eye for Ramelton, and I hope the next 3 days rebound with laughter, not too much over merriment, but you all enjoy yourselves because you deserve it, and that it brings plenty of people into the town, and I have great, great pleasure in declaring the 1987 festival open.
Thank you, Mr. Sean Rafferty. And now I would like to call on a local artist who is a niece of mine to present a little token on our gratitude to Mr. Rafferty. Miss Claire McCahill.
Thank you very, very much indeed. It's not enough. I didn't think she's done a good job. You'll not want to come to the
It's a painting of Sean Rafferty's house in Croghan. There's an art exhibition on in the Georgian House, which is opening immediately after we're finished here, and this will be opened by Mr. Tony Nicholl. And of course our beauty queens are in the hall, so anyone that's making their way to the hall, it's taking place now immediately. So on behalf of the Ramelton Festival Committee, on behalf of myself personally, I wish to thank each and every one of you. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
There's the function of the crew now coming at the 8th corner, the first band, and it's the Letter Kenny band. Family is open to all of us. Smile, please, smile. That's the parade of the classes. Hello there, Tommy, and hello there. There's several little hands and little throat. to show your appreciation as we all pass. Of course, we didn't all to come in. There's several bands on it, and just show your appreciation as we pass. Thank you. These are all cards in the draw. Follow the things from all their culture. next we have Volkswagen Mazda, Letterkenny Motors. Give them a big hand now, so let's give them all to come here today. There's a BMX specialist there. 3 of them there. And there's Steve Stoffer. And here's your big Jimmy. You wouldn't think that was something always look at it, which is well cleaned up. Thank you. Ramelton Heritage and Development Association. And that's the McKinney Restoration Home in the Mountains, West America. And that's the old guys there sitting on top. And not the other. What a stick to them. The home bakery. And the Backland Bandit. There you are. The Backland Bandit. Walking an X-Files, huh? After all the work they've done this last month or so, and unifying Letterkenny. Well sorted out, trucks as well. These people have put a lot of work into cleaning all the lorries, cars, tractors, what have you, to come on the parade. And that's in all cars, Letterkenny. How's John? Well done. That's John Mullen, John McGree driving there, and all cars, Letterkenny. Sorry Motors, Monaghan. Soldiers! There you are, the Nova State stand at the Legion, Airport Bowl, and Daughter. In the back of the trailer there was one Mr. Hunter. Look at that going on now, huh? Hunter, hey Rick, there's the man to do it for you. That's the old time one. And he's got 24 posts to walk him. Ah, hey, look at that. Come on, Kevin, start him. Hotel. There they come turning up. That's Sonny and the boy. There's Tim and boy. Diesel and looks like a McCormick grinder. No, McCormick dairy grinder. So the corner from the plate and the head down the back. Central hitting the engine by Harry Hamilton. On down for the French market. That's what we have to do. Used last night to bring John Rafferty to the opener. And there's another car ready. Joe Dawson taking the camera as well. And an MG. There's a Marshall way back about 1946, 47. And there's 1949, I was 49, not the front of it. That model was available up to 48, 1947, 48. Construction, NASA, National Plan Service. Hello there, Vicky. How are you? Nice to meet you in there. How we are. Transcontinental Transport. That's what's needed for the Autobahn. Anything less is no good. Mickey must have spent a long time getting maps up there for the parade. Look at the tires. And here we have our local McKidd Willie Bottling store. And then Friday back there, that's the Ramelton Festival. Hello, wait here. Wait here, that's right. Come on, wait here. Get us all the way, that's right. And there's Noah himself. One punch to the line, Noah. The cameraman. Now the judges will have their work come out to pick the winners in the bidding section. Boyfriend.
I have a boyfriend there.
Oh, she has a boyfriend. I was going to ask her that maybe she got another one last night,
No.
No, she didn't. Miss Verdecker, Festival Queen. Big hand now for Festival Queen. Come on, now. Another wee wave before you go. Give us a wave before you go. That's it. Come on. Give us all a wave before you go. That's it. You're not getting any time already. Give him a wave here. Give him a wave. Where you are now, he's waving at you.